Hello, everybody, and this is another episode of Jazz, Juice, and Jam. Man, it's been a minute.
I don't know, man.
Where you been?
I thought I got cut.
Yeah, I had to do it without you last time. I had on a suit and everything.
I could tell what happened.
Well, we not that formal here.
That's right.
Humble begins came from the
That's
plastic
it, man.
tablecloth.
We about to go back to it.
The little rattling in the
That's it.
audio. Nothing on the walls. Hey, we sorry for that.
Nothing.
That first season.
Second season.
Here we go.
We upgraded.
Yeah, but man, look. I also want to say at the beginning, I want to thank y'all so much for tuning in. This episode is sponsored by Truly Reads and the Terry Lawn Care Service. So, we
got two sponsors on there.
That's it. We doing it, man.
Look at you, man.
Hey,
man,
business
you,
folks
man.
here. Business folks here. Yeah, man. So, what you been up to? You know,
Man, working.
Working.
Getting ready for my album that I'm about to drop.
That's it.
Just finished writing all the tunes. Got everything laid out. Got the dates in mind. Just gotta go ahead and finish it up. So
Good,
have it
man.
done for my birthday. That's all.
All right. Oh, look at
Yeah,
that.
man.
Chipmunk a year older. Oh, man. Yeah, but that's good, man. I'm
Yeah,
glad
man.
you've been
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
stuff. People
yeah.
was wondering. They was shouting, is he alive? Is he all right? I was like, he's
Oh
good.
yeah, I'm alive. I'm alive, full in flesh. How you been, man? I know your suits is probably in the cleaners right now.
Look, man, let me tell you something. With things starting to come back, it's a little bit like I'm missing. You know, like we starting to work a little bit more. And
Too
it's,
much.
It's just
I
like
better slow down.
yeah, I think things are gonna slow down. But you know, it's cool, man. You know, just the adjustment. I'm enjoying being the dad. I'm enjoying, you know.
Man, she's getting big.
Yeah,
She's getting big, man. I walked
walking
in.
and stuff.
She was standing on 2 feet. I said,
So that's how long you've been here.
man.
But no, man, look, been doing good. Been doing really good. Just getting a lot of things done. We did that big festival. We're gonna talk a little bit about that later.
You did a good job, bro.
We'll get to it. But before we get into all that, this is Jazz, Juice, and Jam. So we're gonna play a song, and hopefully y'all can guess what it is that we're drinking.
Wah.
All right, so that was a tune by the great tenor saxophonist Sonny Rollins that was called St. Thomas. Yeah, that's it. So as you can tell, we usually don't name the song that we're doing, but
Usually don't.
yeah, but we're gonna drop some hints and see if you all can guess throughout the whole show, we're gonna be dropping hints to see if you all can guess what we drinking. Man. Cool, we're gonna roll on. We're gonna keep moving, man. I ain't even gonna stop it. We just gonna keep rolling with that. Okay, so today for the albums to check out, I'm gonna cheat a little bit. Instead of picking one, I'm gonna pick two. Because one is from the home team. We gotta represent home
team. Best record in MLB. So
yeah, all right. So look, today for the album we all wanted you to check out, or we thought it would be good to check out, is by a local great pianist. His name is Ryan Marquez.
The homie.
The homie, right? And this album is called Saint Unity. It features some of the best female singers in the St. Louis area, and it has a lot of like great appearances by musicians in the St. Louis metropolitan East St. Louis area too. I'm on it at some point, and there's just a lot of great people, and it's really just about, with everything going on, bringing us all together, and that's why it's called Saint Unity. And Ryan Marquez is a great friend. He's talented cat, and you all be on the lookout for that album. I'm not gonna give no spoilers away right now, but just be on the lookout for Saint Unity.
Cool. Yeah. Second one.
All right. So the second album, which definitely I'm not really giving you guys anything right now. The second album we're gonna talk about a little bit later, but I've just been checking this one out so much. It's called You and I. It's by he's from St. Louis, but he's more of a Chicago native now. His name is Quentin Coaxum. The album You and I came out last year, 2020, but it is so relevant to today, bro. That man, and I'm so glad we got a chance. We're privileged, to talk to him. And we're going to show that a little bit later, that great interview. But I mean, man, it just
great album.
Great. I mean, like you just listen to it.
From start to finish.
Yeah, we were listening to it while we were getting set up. And it's like all the tunes go together. And like one of the quotes I'm going to pull from him is that he said he just wanted to write an album that felt good. Like, those are the best albums. That's just what it was about. Mm-hmm. Just feeling good, enjoying the music, nothing else, not trying to impress anybody. And like you talked about doing your album. Yeah. I mean, I know that's something that you always talk about striving for. Yeah. Like not trying to impress anybody, but just try to play what's in your heart.
Except old girl. That's it.
We ain't gonna talk about that on this show. That's a different show. The Love Boat with Bernard coming this fall.
No, man, that album, man, it's funny you brought it up. Because I was like, man, new record. Man, it sounds new every time you listen to it.
It's dope, man.
It really is, man.
It's going to be good. Y'all got to stick around for the interview.
Great playing on everything, man. I was like, yo. Yeah. And some beautiful ballads, too. Like, it's very rare for you to hear ballads to begin with. But to hear a beautiful ballad.
And it's a true ballad.
Like, no, it's not like we're going to go triple
D'Angelo ballad. No,
No, man, it sounds great, man. Yeah.
Y'all definitely check those two out. Yeah, You and I and Ryan Marquez Saint Unity. Mm-hmm. Now I hit you with two. You got to come with a good one, bro.
I am.
We're gonna hear Ray Brown today.
Keep playing. We're gonna go through all the Ray Brown records. No. Today we're gonna go through. He's a piano player for the Bad Plus. And he actually had his debut with the Bad Plus in St. Louis.
Okay. Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I know he did. He did. It was major. Orrin Evans. Great guy. Love his piano playing. So he put out a big band album last year in 2020.
Yeah.
And it's called The Intangible Between. And it features Sean Jones on there.
Notepad out.
Which I'm gonna punch you in the face.
Be a different show. Feature Sean Jones.
Let me finish what I gotta say. So it features Sean Jones on there. And he plays on A Time to Love. And that's one of my favorite songs on there. The first between 18 seconds to 48 seconds. It's just bass and trumpet, and it sounds beautiful. And it's a ballad. I'm a big guy of ballads, like lately. Slow and steady, man. That's how we do it. And then my second favorite tune on the album and it's just me. It's really between the first two, but just a lot of mine. I love the composition of that song.
That's the one you let me listen.
That's
to.
the one I let you listen
really
to.
nice.
Yeah, man, really nice. And man, he has some stuff on there, man. It's like it gets to your soul, man.
Yeah.
It's down to earth.
Yeah.
So yeah, check out the record, man. Check out the record. Good record.
Yeah.
Good record.
Yeah, those are good, man. I mean, you played a little bit of that while he's getting, set up and everything. And I mean, it's like great that we do often pay homage to the greats. You know, we have them up on the wall and everything. But it's great to talk about.
You got it stretched out on your shirt.
Okay. But it's great to also talk about modern cats. You know, it's great to pay homage. You know. Mm-hmm. To those that are doing great music now, because those are the cats we get to see. And I think, like, you know, we're big advocates of, like, you know, going to check out modern guys now, and hopefully once this stuff is all over, we'll get some of them in here. Right. But y'all got to stay tuned on that. But we got some coming. Yeah. It was good, man. Good. All right, so talked about some albums. I think it's time we talk about what's happening now. While we're mentioning artists that's doing things now, we're going to talk about what's happening today in the state of jazz. So
there we go.
See y'all in a minute. Okay, so today for our current events.
What we talking about?
Man, we talking about one of the biggest jazz festivals to happen in this area, at least since I've been alive.
Man.
It's been compared to...
What jazz festival you talking about?
Man, I'm talking about the big all-star jazz fundraiser festival that we had here.
Presented by?
I'm not going to plug myself on my own
show. No, it's not a plug here, bro, but it is a big congratulations that you put your own festival on.
Man, I appreciate that.
Do them little fake claps.
Hey, don't talk about my claps. They get us going. No, but look, man, it couldn't really be possible without like cats like yourself and many of the other great musicians that we had, in this area that just showed up. And I mean, they showed up for... just doing it out of the kindness of their heart, it wasn't even about anything else than just coming out, showing support. Yeah. And if you all didn't tune into the last show, it was an initiative that I had and partnered with the Dark Room, Chris Hansen and the Kransberg, as well as Gene Dodds Bradford by Vending Jazz at the Bistro. It was a great initiative to raise money for local venues and musicians that have been heavily affected by the pandemic, and we raised some substantial money for those venues, and that's so thankful. And I thank everybody for coming out. Yeah. Thank all the musicians for participating, man. I mean, it was really...
Like that suit you had on?
Hey, man, like I had to look presentable.
Hey, y'all should have saw him, man. He had the Steve Harvey collectible eye.
I mean, you look like somebody from Texas, was it Texas Lone Star? Is that with the cowboy hat?
Focus on what you were about to say, man.
Yeah, if y'all on Facebook, you saw all the pictures. But look, it was that beautiful, man.
That was good, man.
We presented a great award to Daryl Mixon. It was tears. It was a lot of press there. I'm just so happy that we were able to come together. Sometimes, especially over these last couple of years, man, there's just been this like talk about like we can't come together. Like, it's just, and that's false. Like people just need a chance to come together, to have dialogue, to want change.
To have a reason and a purpose.
Yeah, 100%, man. So, it was a great cause, and like I think when you do something good like that, only good is going to come out of it.
There you
go. Y'all play great. There are some videos up. You can also check the Dark Room's archives. I think they have it up on YouTube. Some of the shows, some of the acts there. It's called the All-Star Fundraiser Festival. Man, it was a big day.
It was, man. It was a good day.
Yeah, I'm happy to announce that it's going to be an annual thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Another fake clap.
Yeah, that's it. No, but it's great, man. And the only thing that we're trying to do is just keep the scene alive and keep us growing and being an inspiration for the next generation of cats coming up. Like the cats before us was an inspiration to us.
Yeah.
So
it's having a purpose, man. That's the biggest thing. Like,
that's it.
There's a purpose and a reason why we do things. So that's good, man. Congratulations.
Oh, man. Look, thank you so much. Thank y'all so much. All right. I enjoyed that. That was wonderful.
That's
now we
good.
gotta turn the heat up a little bit, man.
Oh,
You
man,
know we get to talking on
it's
the
already
show.
hot.
I can tell where your rag at.
Man, oh my.
Y'all, we getting ready to get into some controversies.
I'm about to hit y'all with the old St. Louis, man. You know, it's getting hot in here. Let's go.
Right, we gonna see y'all in a minute. So today for our controversial topic, as a jazz musician, which we both are, we play jazz. We could just say.
I mean, I play music. Go ahead, man.
As a predominantly jazz playing musician or improvised music band, whatever you want to call it, I don't come for me. Is it essential to study other genres? And the reason why I bring it up is there is a notion
There is.
You lose some of the essence of what makes what we do great when you start venturing into other genres, and then naturally start mixing those other genres into jazz, whatever that is.
Whatever that is,
right? Which that word is debatable on so many topics. I don't even agree with Bam, but you know that's.
I mean,
But that's another.
If we're going to talk about it, I think I play more genres than you.
You think? Well, I mean, you all in that yeehaw market.
No, seriously.
Swing your partner around.
That's a good song. If you're a little bit of chicken fry, if you cold beer on.
No, bro, you're not finna give me no messages. The views expressed by my cohorts.
It's a good song.
Does not express the views in jazz.
It's gonna. Let me tell you something. Okay.
Man, I'm already getting.
It's gonna be a spicy episode. So let me say this: all music originates from a certain source, right?
Correct.
You can say, especially in America, the music comes from predominantly black people. This comes from our lineage, and everybody shares everything. Now, this is where we're going to start separating. I'm a firm believer. I'm a firm believer that even though they have different categories, because they like to put things in categories, that doesn't mean you stop learning out of one category. You must learn all categories because they all tie into one another. If you call yourself Bam, or if you call yourself this, as I might say, you should be able to recall all styles of music, no matter what. Now,
you say all?
All styles of music. From polka music, from country music, from the music of the hill to the mountains of North Carolina, all the way back to slavery. You should be able to recount all that music. I was taught that as a kid.
Now, you know I don't agree with you, right?
I know you don't, because that's why I'm talking first.
Get it out.
The reason why I say that is really one thing. You got to move forward. You learn history books in order for you to move forward so you don't make the same mistakes in the past. Am I right?
There's no disagreement.
So that's the same thing. You learn the music in the past. Like, there are songs like Hambone, Hambone, Have You Heard? A lot of people may say that's a controversial tune.
It is controversial.
But it's not, though. It's a very fun tune. Do you know where the tune comes from?
Enlighten me.
It comes from playing spoons. You know who plays spoons? Black people. And people imitate us. It's just, people like to imitate what we do.
We going
we going there, bro. They imitate what we do. And they try to profit off of what we do, but they can never fulfill. They can never get there. Like in today's times, right now, you listen on the radio, they're playing Motown tunes. Yeah, they're playing a bunch of Motown tunes.
I agree.
They don't sound like Motown.
I agree that they're doing like there are artists now that are definitely.
But are they artists? Or are they part of the industry? so they can profit off of money.
Well, that title says artist. When you look them
The
up
title
online.
says artist, but are you really an artist?
Well, look, this is what I'll say.
By definition,
this is what I'll say because there's a lot. There's a lot.
No, there's not.
I'm saying there's a lot to unpack.
You're either original or you're a duplicate.
Well,
and you stay trying to duplicate what we
do. Let me say this.
How you gonna? No, hold on, bro. No. Let me go to my rant. Let me go to my rant.
Hold on. Let me go.
I gotta say this. I gotta say this.
Come on, man.
Coming from a guy that loves country music, how are you gonna segregate country music when it was black folks that actually started country music?
There's no disagreement there.
There is no disagreement, but they really try to segregate the music, and then they go, "Hey, you guys stay in your lane, we'll stay in this lane." When in all actuality, music brings people together. So if music brings people together,
right? You
should be able to learn all styles of music, because I might get a call tomorrow to go play metal music. I enjoy playing metal music. I enjoy playing jazz.
Yeah.
I enjoy playing rock music. I enjoy playing all that. You know where all that comes from? Black people.
Okay. Can I talk? Is it okay now?
You go ahead and talk, because I think I'm about to get canceled here.
No, man, look. It's what you was. There's a lot of truth in what you said.
And don't edit none of this.
No. We're going to leave it in. We real on this show.
We real.
We got to.
We 100%.
We're gonna fire us. We're own bosses. No, but
I spot us like
so
go cut some more yards.
Have you gotten your truly roots today? Oh shoot. Okay, look, there's a lot to be said. Like, one of the things that I was taught, right? My teacher,
and this is where we get different.
Yeah, my teacher. Hand me a blue. He taught me this. He said,
"You just had to drop that name."
Yeah, I mean, look, I got to go to the source. We talked about going to the source. He's on the wall, right there. Yeah. So, one of the things that he taught me was that there are only what we deal with in Western society. There are only 12 notes. Right?
That's true.
And that's why I have an issue, or I don't really like the phrase "bam" that much, because I don't really believe that a music can have ownership to it by a particular race. No. Let me throw it out for a minute, because I will say that all American music does stem from us, our culture, black music.
It does.
But there is a European harmonic sense. No.
That's debatable. That's debatable.
But what was it drawn from, bro? Like Charlie Parker talks about, what did he talk about studying? He didn't talk about studying like African music. He talked about studying Etudes, classical music. He was quoting Stravinsky and stuff like that.
Since we're talking about that, there was black people back then.
But he didn't mention.
Because they didn't see. My issue is they didn't really see race in learning back then.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say. That's exactly my point with BAM.
But my thing with BAM, and I understand it, is it wasn't until they brought race into it.
I understand what.
So if they brought something into it, how can we counteract?
Let me finish. Let me finish. I gave you a minute to finish. Let me finish it.
Go ahead, bro. I'm about to.
Yeah. Fix your
with my black towel. Go ahead.
So I just personally
cut your hair off.
Yours are okay. Personally, I feel like that the music, you should honor where the music comes from.
That's
right?
facts.
You should honor
who
created, who paved the way for this music that we play. But I don't think that means ownership of the music. One of the biggest mistakes that I ever made growing up, and really when I was in college, was that I separated myself from the classical department. There was this stigma,
that culture.
There was this stigma of jazz musicians or the jazzers and classical musicians. They just read old people's music. When we all playing music, from 100 years ago. St. Thomas is old. It's older
Blood
than me.
Is still on the sheet paper. We're still picking it up.
So we all know old music. But the thing is that any great legend that you talk to or you hear in interviews, they talk about absorbing everything. That's why.
And that's where we agree on.
Right. That's what we agree on. Now, I don't think just because I can't quote a tune from 1906 or something from Buddy Bolden, that means that I'm not able to play the music correctly. I don't think.
Now that's a whole different thing because that's
or even do a country. I don't do many country gigs, but I've done bar mitzvahs.
Yeah, bar mitzvahs are fun,
right? But that's different. But I don't want to say like you gotta have bar mitzvahs in your lineage in order to play.
For most bar mitzvahs, they're playing pop music.
Yeah, I mean, jazz. Well, the thing is about what we call jazz, bam, improvised music.
It's because and this is the honest truth, and I know I'm gonna probably get in trouble for it. What?
We're gonna cancel this.
I might use a couple yards for this, but the issue becomes when it comes to making money, and this is where a lot of people get upset when we can take our culture. We have the culture, right? But when they are profiting off the money and we're not, that's where it becomes the issue of why are you doing what's going on? Bro, remember we were on the phone one day and I said, what is this trash that I'm listening to? Bro, when they did a remake of What's Going On and it sounded like straight garbage, if you understand the history about that tune and why Marvin Gaye wrote that tune, it's kind of disrespectful why you remake that tune.
See, this is why we differ. Because
did you think that tune sounded good?
No. Let me say this. That doesn't matter to me. Listen to what I'm about to say. Did it
sound good though?
Reason why it doesn't matter if it sounded good or not, because if a person of another race does What's Going On, that means that they've listened to that song. That means that hopefully they understand the connotation of that song. That's why I said you should honor the cats that came before it and understand where this comes from. But you should also learn from it. I don't think that people of different races stay away from music.
I'm not saying that, but we did talk about honoring the music. Yeah. And if I'm somebody that wants to play What's Going On, right? Before I play that tune, I should understand what that tune's about.
Oh, who says they don't?
Yeah, does it sound like you understand that tune? In the Bible, it says, "Make a joyful noise unto who?"
Noise, bro. I mean, look,
joyful noise unto who?
The Lord.
Unto the Lord.
Yeah.
You need the Lord like that tune.
Look, man. It coming from a father.
You think we're
gonna have to keep going. We're gonna have to go. But coming from a father, my daughter makes noises that don't sound like any type of notes, but I know they're joyful.
They're joyful. Why?
Because I can feel it. There's a feeling from it. But if people love it, bro, that's a whole nother thing. The topic is,
I don't know what
is it essential?
And I'll say
learn?
Yes. Because you know what? If you don't learn, they'll take it away from you.
Well, I'll say yes, because by learning other styles of music, you open yourself to other nuances that you may not necessarily adhere to by playing one genre of music. Most of the time, and we've talked about this, jazz is what volume? Loud.
I mean,
don't be country.
The word jazz, bro.
What is the name of the show? Exactly.
Juice and Jam.
That's all the time. I mean, look. Unfortunately, the word is synonymous to what we do, which is improvised music. You can't say improvised music, juice and jam. Nobody likes it. It's a jazz.
But
I know we don't use that word a lot. We don't say.
The only time we use it in a corporate setting, like we're doing.
Or if you're trying to label something, people say, "What do you do?" What you gonna say? I play improvised music.
No, I'm a black man.
That's who you are. Okay. Well, look. I mean, this one I told you guys it was gonna get pretty heated, but it's great dialogue.
Is a good conversation.
And that's what this show is about. It's about us just talking freely and expressing views that not only we share, but this is a communal discussion.
It gets talked about a lot on Instagram,
and it's a lot. It's a lot that we can take from that and to grow.
And I'm not saying that. Let me do this disclaimer. I'm not saying
take it back now.
No, I ain't taking nothing back, my brother.
Watching too much Dr. Umar.
No, this ain't Dr. Umar. This is Malcolm X. I'm not saying. What I'm not saying is have respect when you do something. That's all. Just have respect. If you're going to do What's Going On, at least do it in a meaningful way where it not just honors Marvin Gaye and that whole record is different. you should honor at least the words, bro. Because here's my issue with the whole culture, the whole world right now. They'll say a lyric, and people don't follow lyrics no more.
No.
That's where
I agree with what you're saying.
And that's where, if you study the history, like during slavery, and they got all these tunes. The reason why they had these tunes to begin with is so people can go to freedom.
No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Lyrics do matter, man.
No, lyrics matter, and there is there are backstories to these tunes.
So you shouldn't just pick up a tune.
But let me throw a butt in there.
Go ahead and throw butts all over the place. This ain't the honest though.
I will say that the issue that you're bringing up is a very important one, but I think it needs to be talked about across the spectrum. Because if we're being honest, it's not only other races that take those tunes for granted. We've heard many versions of what's going on.
We have.
From many different folks.
Locally and internationally.
It's been a little but I want to say this. I want to say this before we close and move
respectfully.
On. Right. I agree. And I do want to say, because when you approach when people approach classical music, European classical music, they approach that with a certain amount of reverence and respect. And there's a whole outfit change, and it's really approached in a certain way. And sometimes with predominantly black music, it's just kind of like, you just play that. You just make up a bunch of stuff.
Which is you don't
study for hours. Like Charlie Parker studied for 12 hours a day for 2 years or something.
You practice 50 hours a week, and for somebody to come up and go, not bad. I know rubs you the wrong way, and then my ancestors get upset because look, we ain't fight for freedom for nothing.
Here we go, Bakatunde. Hey, that's good. This is good, bro.
It is good, but at the end of the day, you do things respectfully and you honor those that came before you. When it comes to playing European classical, I'm not even gonna say European. When it comes to playing classical music, I approach that with certain reverence. Because what those guys did was great, and I approach that with a certain amount of respect. When it comes to Motown, I approach that with the utmost respect, because for what they did and for the amount of turnout of music that they did and the way they changed the culture, the way they changed the sound,
it's still you should still have
the same reference.
Yeah,
that's all we're trying to say.
Yeah.
Now, what I said in between there, catch me at a local bar, I'll tell you how I really feel.
I don't know what to say after that. Well, look.
We don't drink malt liquor.
What's the juice? Where do we play? We from the islands?
We from the islands. We drinking rum. No, I'm joking.
That's not that color.
No, it's not.
Okay, anyway. We're going to go on and talk about my boy Quentin Coaxum, who I got a chance to sit down and
great guy.
Yeah, man. Look.
I'm glad you changed the subject.
No. We gotta, keep moving. Otherwise, people gonna go to sleep. No, maybe not on this one.
Man, gonna go sleep. But I said this.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Hey, it's all good.
But I had an opportunity to sit down with a great, local legend. We talked about him a little bit before, right? Quentin Coaxum.
Great trumpet player.
Yeah, man, he's great. He's. I've done we've done some interviews, right? And his was just, really, 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 really thought provoking. And you could feel sometimes, man, like there's something about that Midwest connection. Like we got a vibe out here. You could tell when you talk to somebody from
East Coast.
Yeah, it's different. But when you talk to somebody from the Midwest, you're like,
yeah.
Y'all don't see nothing but plains either. So we gotta be cool and
what it feels like to have 4 seasons in one day.
Yeah, that's it. So, man, his new album, you and I, we talked about it earlier, but now we're gonna, this is a great interview I did with Quentin Coaxum, and hope you guys check it out. Here it is.
Yeah.
I'm on it. I just wanted to make sure. But man, look, I really do appreciate you taking out the time, doing this. It's gonna be fun. I love like the second album, man. It's really, really great. For those, let's say, I'll just give a little intro because maybe, people may not really, really know who you are yet. You know, if they don't know, they need to get, from under a rock. Because I mean, man, you definitely got some stuff going. This is a St. Louis native, one of the leading voices in trumpet in the Chicago scene, composer, educator, Quentin Coaxum. Man, I'm again very, very happy to have you be a part of this, and happy that we get a chance to talk about your second album, bro, which is, entitled You and I, sophomore album, and it's dope, man. I'm telling you.
Thank you, man. I've never all those things you just said, those accolades. I'm just kind of taken aback.
I see your face. You're like, oh man,
but yeah, man. I'm glad you like it, man. I put my heart into that one. That album was a time of transition in my life, and it was finished during a time of transition. It was finished. I think I completed it in July 2020.
Okay.
And put the finishing touches on it in March and April 2020. So it really, that album is going to be special to me for a long time. So it's great to hear that somebody else likes it.
Yeah, man. Look, I'll tell you something. I hit you up. I think the first time I got in contact with you was maybe about 2-3 years ago or something. I was my wife is from Chicago. And I was like, well, let's listen to, some cast music from there. And Brady Lewis actually hit me to, Brady?
Yeah, I know Brady.
Yeah. We were doing this tour with a vocalist. He was like just playing. So I was like, man, who's that? That sounds dope. So he kind of hit me to the record, and I played it for my wife as we were kind of going, driving from here to Chicago, and she just fell in love with the music, man. Like on your first album, Current, the 1 Cent, like we listened to that like on repeat, like 5 times. I was like, okay, all right, and she, she's a lover of the music and kind of supports, what's going on. So when I finally got to Chicago, I just kind of, messaged her. I was like, man, is there any sessions happening? Are you playing anywhere? And I just remember you being really cool. It's like saying, check this place out on Sunday. When there was places to play. And I really appreciated that, even coming from somebody you didn't know, you was still just kind of like, beautiful cat. Like, I'm glad I think at the time you said, man, I'm really glad you enjoyed the record, and, you might catch me here.
Still, man, I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, that's what people, did and continue to do for me. So of course, I did that first record, man, 7 years ago now, and I that first record I was like, man, I was playing with all the guys on the record. I was just trying to play my music out for the first time. Like I had just finished school and I was trying to just put a band together and see what my music sounded like. And I was like, man, it wasn't even about me. I was like, man, I really like the way these people sound playing my music. I got to record this for me.
Yeah.
So I had it, recorded it, and I just put it out. Milton Suggs ended up putting it on his label, the Skiptone music label.
Okay.
But the second record, I feel like the first record, I kind of learned how to make a record.
Okay.
It was a big learning process for me.
Yeah.
It turned out great, but the second project was like me kind of conceptualizing something that I wanted to hear and really kind of being able to focus in and target on the way I wanted to do it, and kind of having a little experience making my own record and playing on other people's records and really trying to make the album that I wanted to hear. And it was going to be different than the first one. And same with the first one, man. I was just like, I'm trying to make something that I want to hear, and I'm really happy with it. So whenever somebody else says it touched them, and that's,
yeah, I mean, yeah, man, and let's get into that a little bit about the second record. Is one of the things that really kind of made me take a lot of interest in it. It's like you seem to kind of walk this line, this balance between, I guess, what guys would consider more traditional, right, and then also this other modern sound. I heard like the notes of R&B, hip hop, and gospel. I mean, it's all in the music, but sometimes when you hear that's done, especially now where it kind of seems like a cliche, it doesn't feel authentic. But with you, it was so seamless at times. Like I was you know, I was just kind of like listening to it. It's like, dang, man, he's here and then he's here. But it was just so seamless. I could tell when you say you put a lot of thought, you know, into it. And I mean, it's definitely a seasoned record. Like already, like there's still like little things every time I listen to it. Like the first track, you know, specifically like Constellations, bro. It's like, it starts one place and then it ends at a whole nother place, you know?
Yeah, I think I always wanted to. My favorite artists in general, regardless of genre, they always create their own rooms. They always create spaces, you know. And I think I don't ever want to make a record that doesn't feel like, to me, that I created my own space. Not in a sense of like I'm trying to achieve something or innovate anything, but I just feel like, you know, the world of killing jazz trumpet solos, like, I don't know, there's just so many cats that are so much better than me, you know, so many cats that are already doing that. It's like, man, I don't think that's where I really want to try to make my statement. Okay. And I want to try to write music that people would, I don't want to make a record that feels like a dissertation, you know, like this is what I've been working on composition wise. Yeah. Check out. I just want to make music that just really expresses where I've been and is kind of just a release, a catharsis for me, just to take some things out. So, and all that music, all those genres you mentioned, like those were integral parts of how I grew up and what I was hearing and what I still love to this day. So I really want to hear music that seamlessly includes those things. So when you listen to it, I mean, obviously, you know, it's got jazz sensibilities, but you hear influences from all over the place because that's kind of what soothes my palate. So.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You know, with that in mind, you know, listening to the second track, Words, where it definitely, you know, starts off as this, as you said, you know, this heavy swing thing, but you know, towards the end where it goes into that vamp, and then like there's this space of silence, and then this beautiful monologue. But before I go on from that, who was that talking for people?
That was Maya Angelou, and I wrote that song. So some of the music, especially the first half of the record, is when I was in graduate school, I was doing a lot of reading. Okay. And I was doing a lot of reading outside of just the world of music per se. I was taking a lot of classes centered around racial justice and music, race, and America. And I was just getting into a lot of different things. And I was finding a lot of inspiration in just the words of people. So Maya Angelou had that quote, and she says it many times in many places, where she believes that words are things. And that inspired me to try to write something that, as a blanket statement, is just you're just supposed to swing, and you're just supposed to, you know, it's a heavy swinger, but harmonically, it kind of forces you to really think about the choices you make as you play through the harmonies. And I wanted me and Dustin, the tenor player on the record, to kind of have a dialogue back and forth, so that we kind of had to weave through this labyrinth to have a conversation, much like you would when you think about the words that you choose when you talk. So, and the whole record, I mean, you could listen to it three ways, but it from top to bottom, it is where I was mentally from the beginning to the end, from 2015 to 2020. I think it also kind of tells a story in a lot of ways of things we're going through as a people in America. Yeah. You know? So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with that, I mean, you definitely definitely dive into that. Well, not, I don't even want to say a little bit, but quite a bit, especially with that East, you know, boogie rundown. I mean, you know, that tune sounds like quiet intensity. You know what I mean? Like it brought me to like, if you do see someone, or do you see a group of people going to protest, you know, there's a loud statement we're making, but a lot of times, you know, protests, they start off quiet. You know what I mean? There's this thing about it where it's like you hear little murmurs, but we're coming with a purpose, and then as it happens in your tune, you know, it gets more and more, you know, intensive things happen. Was that kind of the vibe you were going for?
Yeah, I mean, that song is about protest. That song is about, you know, the protests around the arch when they weren't hiring people from the other side of the river to do the work.
Yeah.
And it also, I was trying to harken back to this record I love called East Broadway Rundown. That Sonny Rollins and this Freddie is just killing on this record, man. And so I was kind of hearkening to that too. But I remember I was back home, and I went to, I forget where the exhibit was, but it was basically like, civil rights leaders that were from the St. Louis area that were just not talked about as much. And it was just an exhibit about how St. Louis was really a hub for a lot of those movements, even though they don't get the same publicity. And I learned a lot, and it kind of inspired that tune. So yeah, that tune is definitely inspired by protest. And those three tunes kind of tell, it's a suite, those three: East Boogie, Goodbye Mountain, and Forward. So
yeah, and one of the things, man, I want to say just for a minute is that I'm always like intrigued and interested when like different composers and different artists, they're able to take something that you could definitely have it in a negative light. You could come at it from an approach of anger or hate, but you take those feelings and turn into something beautiful, into music. And I'm always really intrigued, like, with an album like this that talks about those things. I mean, how did you prepare mentally for that, or did it just come to you?
It's funny, man. This record, I mean, all of those songs were written in that order from 2015 to 2020.
Okay.
And that's really where I was. Like, I remember mentally, like I was, I started grad school in 2015, and I was reading a lot of bell hooks and Nikki Giovanni and James Baldwin and Toni Morrison, right? And then, Alton Sterling was killed. And I could not get over. I remember I was in a practice room one day, and I was avoiding watching the video, that's circulating like they always do.
Yeah.
Just because I'm just exhausted. And I ended up watching it, and it made me write Goodbye Alton, which kind of, in a way, sounds like a funeral march, but it's supposed to be like a requiem almost. Like, and the only solace I got from that was reading the works of people who have been through this, who have been through it in much more intense ways. And James Baldwin and others had a lot of words that brought me a lot of comfort. So I just put it in music.
Okay. Yeah, no, man. And I'm glad you kind of talked about Goodbye Alton, because I definitely was going to say that's one of the... Still, man, like, you have this, and I'm just talking as somebody who's just kind of getting to know you, but to me, it's like you have this beautiful way of writing, even when it's something somber, kind of sounding like Goodbye Alton, it still is like a lot of beauty in it, and a lot of thought into it. And I think, I think the great composers that I really admire, they kind of all do that. Like, they have this, even when the subject matter maybe a little bit, darker or whatever, not as all happy, it's still beauty in that thing. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. I think that's the blues. I think that's like, I've heard people say that's the essence of the blues, right? Like, things are really bad, but
yeah,
it's going to be okay.
Yeah. I love that, man. Yeah.
Got to find a way to slide that in. Yeah.
Yeah. Without playing a 12-bar form or a scale or something like that. Right. Yeah. Yeah, there's this saying I used to hear a great drummer, Marty Morrison, say, like, play with a blues sensibility. And, you just always be like, without playing any of that, and for the longest time, it took me a minute to really get what he was talking about, but it's exactly what you're saying, taking that pain or that anguish or those questions, and morphing it into something. I mean, which really kind of gets into, like, the tune Forward. Who are you talking to? Because I love that dialogue.
Oh man, that's actually my brother. That's my younger brother. He's a couple years younger than me. He sounds just like me, looked just like me. But it was a voicemail I had, and that response from James Baldwin, that response to his question, I feel like that's a question a lot of us are asking as African Americans, like, what do we do with this reality? Are we supposed to, which direction do we turn?
Yeah.
When I heard that, I used to just listen to speeches by James Baldwin, and he was giving a speech to some students in this particular audio clip. And he's, the part where he says, you don't have to prove your humanity to anyone, you just need to know that. Yeah. And that gives you the peace you need. And when I heard that, I was like, woo.
Yeah, that's dope.
just tried to put in some music, and it went great with that voicemail, because that was the conversation, still is the conversation.
Yeah.
A lot of us are having.
Yeah, man. No, I've said that exact same thing with my buddy Bernard Terry, who does the podcast with me. Is we're like, how much do you? I love the first question, like, how much do you pay attention to the community and try to build things there, or do you go outside of it? And sometimes there's this narrative of like, oh, it's fine here, but when you really look at it, that there are things that need to be fixed, even in our own particular community, even in our own places, because it's brought up usually after the gig or whatever it is. It's like and I think I love what was happening, particularly, well, what is happening, but it started last year, where like people were kind of starting to be honest about hard conversations. And one of the things one of the reasons I think is because there was nowhere else to go. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, you couldn't be threatened of losing a gig for speaking out about stuff that you should have been talking about, because it's like, ain't nobody working anyway. So I love that, that you look within yourself, the community first, because like, definitely, there are things outside that need fixing and need a voice on it too. But, a lot of times I feel like we definitely, kind of abandon home first, or don't look inwards. It's like to take it to another direction. It's like how I'm sure you've heard cats say, man, when you gonna leave? When you gonna, go here, go to this place? And I'm just, and my thing I always say is that if everybody left, I wouldn't be inspired by the cats that inspired me coming up. Everybody can't. And what does it mean to leave if you're not, just because you go to a certain place where there are other killer jazz musicians doesn't, that doesn't mean you're killing, and that doesn't mean that that's what you're supposed to do. Like, your plan is validated now.
I'm playing trumpet because of St. Louis trumpet players. I'm playing trumpet because of Danny Campbell.
Yeah, Danny. Yeah, man.
I'm playing trumpet because of, my mother was friends with Ronald Carter's wife when I was little. So I just remember hearing about that, that Lincoln High School band.
Yeah.
And that's how I kind of got my ear, like I remember hearing Russell Gunn, like, oh, I still want to play like him,
Man, he did an interview. If you check it out, I think he was he's the second person to do an interview. He gets into some deep stuff, man. So you'll like it. Check it out.
I'll check it out for sure, man. Whew, but like, yeah, I mean, you there's room for everybody, and we don't need everybody in the same place,
Yeah, and in different style, like, man, like, it's crazy, like I just love that conversation you have with your brother so much, because like, it's crazy how sometimes like we forget that different styles came from different locations. You know what I mean? Like, everybody wasn't trying to be, the same sound, and that's like, even with hip hop, it wasn't like that. But now it's like everybody's kind of trying to do the same thing, man. But I love, because there's a way that you play, and on your record, like, even if I didn't know who you were or where you were from, I would automatically say, like, this is a cat from where I'm from. There's a, I can't, and I'm not even going to even try to explain what that thing is, but it's the region that we come from. You know what I mean? And it's, I was, and I might edit this part out, but I'm gonna tell you this. I was having another interview with a great trumpet player, and he was saying some stuff about, like, how you cats haven't seen, the cats we've seen in New York and different things like that. And I said, yeah, but it's people that we have that are influential and help to develop our sound. Like, you brought up Danny, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm gonna get to this, the last tune on the record, 2020. But at the end, I recognized that sound. I said, that sound like Los. Like, Carlos. Bro, I said, let me look at the liner notes real quick. And then I see it. I'm like, okay, yeah, because that's his. Yeah, he didn't tell me. I was like, I'm fussing at you, bro, when I call you, because I was like, bro, you didn't tell me on this record. But yeah, that's the beautiful, spirit that we have, from where we are. So I love that you kind of, that question, man, what do you think? Do you think we should focus on our community? And then also, the rebuttal to that is like, whatever you learn, learn it, share it, but don't think too much into it. Don't put too much into what you learn. Keep trying to learn.
Yeah, you don't have to prove it to anybody.
Yeah,
Like
because that's the
someone,
thing people always want to know is like, can you prove what you say? But it's like, they nobody asks Miles that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
but so man, but that's beautiful, bro. While I was kind of bringing it up, 2020, it's like, man, well, you break that down, because that tune to me is a little bit different from all the other tunes of the record. It's like it's going to a different light, the dialogue and everything. What does that tune mean for people listening? And
I mean, I think it can be. I feel like that tune. I didn't name it until after I had the whole record put together. But I wrote. It was the last song I wrote before I went to the studio. I was like, I want a song to sum all of this like mental journey up, right?
Okay.
I named it 2020 because I feel like if you listen to the record in order, the record kind of, that's where I was from 2015 to 2020 mentally. I feel like in a lot of ways, that's where we were as a country from 2015 to 2020. Circumstances has forced different kinds of people to get intimate with each other, and learn about each other. But without getting too detailed, 2020 is just about what I learned at the end of this process, which was to, above all else, see the humanity in other people. That is the most important thing. Like skin color, race, religion, whatever, we all have a common humanity. And when we stop seeing that in each other, that's a very dangerous place. And what we see right now, like James Baldwin put it, is just a symptom of not dealing with that, with each other's humanity. When he says, when we have yet to realize that if I am starving, you are in danger.
Yeah, right.
It's like that. That was like the lesson of 2020. It seems like we look at other people's problems, and for the first time, we all had the same problem. Maybe because we all, weren't dealing with each other's problems in some kind of a way. But that song just kind of sums up, I think, the message of the whole record. And then musically, like I wanted to end the record to send people away kind of humming, just with a simple melody. I wanted to get music. I had this simple melody, and to kind of drive that point home, I wanted to get like musicians I knew that had a very particular voice that you wouldn't put in a big band section because they wouldn't blend.
That's right.
The voices are so personal.
Yeah.
But I wanted those personality in those voices to create a texture and a timbre that was kind of dirty and kind of unique to kind of drive that melody home. And I wanted it to sound like people in the streets, like we heard this in the streets this whole year. I wanted to kind of have that feeling. And I knew at the end, I kind of wanted one voice to kind of be soaring over the top, almost we're floating away. And that's, that's Scooter. And it's funny, man, like we recorded that in September 2019. And I had a plan to have all the guys come in the studio. There's probably 11 or 12 different musicians, horn players on it. And we all had to do it in quarantine, like in April. They all did it from their houses and volunteered to lend their voices.
Wow. You couldn't even tell. Sounds great, man. Definitely.
So that's just to sum up the record and drive the point of it home. But I also like the idea of keeping things open, like whatever it means to the person listening.
That's right. Yeah, because definitely, I mean, you said "Sin with a Hum." For me, it definitely just put me in the mind of like church. You know what I mean? Like
benediction.
Yeah, that's it. You know what I mean? Like after everything's been said, it goes to him, and it just is like it leaves you kind of with this feeling of man, what's next? Which is what I was gonna ask you. Like, what do you have? I know the record is still, it's pretty young, and I mean I know like with a lot of things going on right now, like touring and things like that. But I mean, I know your ears ain't stopped, going. And so where do you kind of see yourself going from now?
And I kind of have an idea already for a new group and a new kind of direction. And I really want this next project to be just really groove centered. And I want it to be even more simplistic than the first record and just be about, I want the songs to be about groove, and when we record it, I want it to be about how the music sounds, not in terms of what we're playing, but just the aesthetic, the sonic aesthetic of the record.
Yeah.
Special when we do it. I'm writing really simple songs and loops and melodies on my SP 404. At the little sampler, and I'm I got this loop pedal, and I'm kind of putting horn lines over it and stuff, and coming up with little slivers of ideas, kind of like Miles did with Kind of Blue.
Yeah.
In a different direction. And then I got a couple guys in mind I want to bring it to, and just see where the music goes. But I don't, I really, when I play music, I've learned, like, I really do want to just play for people. Like, I don't want to play. I don't want to. I play for myself, but I can do that myself.
Yeah, right. Facts.
When I play, I want to play for people. So I haven't, for better or for worse, I haven't booked live stream and stuff. I don't. It just doesn't feel as good to me. I've done it, and I if the opportunities are there, I'll definitely do it. But I know that I put this record out in September. Sometime this summer I'm gonna book a gig or a couple gigs, and I want to play this music again for people. I'd like to book something back home.
Man, look, when we get off, I'll talk to you when we get off. Yeah. So, but I think that's beautiful, man. I agree with you 100%. Doing those live streams is hard. It's because you're not. And it also shows something. Like, sometimes the audience, I speak for myself personally, sometimes I'm guilty of kind of taking the audience for granted. It's like I know they're there and I appreciate them, but sometimes it's like, depending on who's in the audience, you're like, man, are they really like, checking it out or whatever? But like, when there's nobody there, man,
yeah.
It's just like, dang. And then when awkward silence when you finish playing it, it's just like, cool.
Okay. It kind of feels like, one take recording and you just put it out. It's kind of how it feels to me.
Yeah. You're like, all right, I guess let's do the next one. So, but I think all of these things, kind of like, with your record and the dialogue with James, Ball is saying that, like, all these things are going to make us stronger in the end, because that's who we are as a people. We don't stop. And we keep growing, and we try to take the hard things, the trials, the tribulations, all the things that we kind of go through, and we make it into something beautiful, man. So I'm glad that you put this record out at a time like this. I like I said, I looked, I was checking out the whole record. I was like, oh shoot, that's something new, and I appreciate you taking the time out to do this, man. Thank you so much. I look forward to hearing, more of you, and maybe seeing you in person when you come home. So any questions for me? Anything else you want to add for anybody listening?
Man, no, just thank you for having me. I look forward to, hopefully linking up sometime soon, and I look forward to playing music for people again, hopefully sometime soon. Things like this past 12 months has just been strictly survival, at least for me, Yeah. So I look forward to kind of shifting my focus back to sharing and surviving. So thank you for having me.
Yeah. Once again, I want to thank you so much, Quentin, for really being a part of that interview. It was a great interview. Thank you for taking the time. I know things are picking up. You're a great, educator, so I know it was a lot to get you. I really appreciate you doing that. It was fun. It's a great interview, man. Great interview. Great job. You guys definitely check out that record if you haven't checked it out.
For real.
Once again,
check out all the records.
Yeah, we talked about it. It's a lot. All right, man. So we've talked a lot about jazz. You've talked enough for last show.
I talked. You had to make up. You ain't gonna don't do that again with that Men in Black suit.
Hey, bro, look, we roll.
I understand. Rolling around. Damn.
So as I say,
Aspra,
yeah. So as I say, we've talked a lot of jazz. Drink a lot of juice.
If you don't know what it is,
come on. What's the last? Let's give him one more hint.
Let me.
What did it make you think about?
It made me think about let me see. I see an island with a coconut tree, with guava right next to it, and it's a fruit very simpler. It's very not simpler. Very very. It's a familiar fruit. That's the guava. It's not a watermelon. It's not guava, but it's
Okay. Look, we gonna get on to the jam. Just think hula dancers. All right. We're gonna see y'all in a minute.
There you go.
Once again, I want to thank y'all so much for tuning into the show. This has been a lot of fun, man.
Man, great fun, man. It's good to see you, man.
Yeah, it's been too long.
Hey,
maybe too
long
soon.
Time. Damn.
Look, thank y'all for enjoying this crazy race, man. It's great. We're gonna keep doing this till the wheels roll off.
That's it. Black wheels roll off.
Oh boy,
put another black wheel on there.
See you all that really wanted to see Bernard.
Like I said, see me at the local bars. I'll tell you more how I feel.
All right, look. Until the next one,
Yeah.
you all please be safe, be blessed. We'll see you later.
Thank y'all.